Welcome to Reduce Your Stress with Tim Ringgold. I'm a board-certified music therapist, author, and expert on how to use music to relieve stress fast. This podcast is sponsored by McConnell Music Therapy Services, Inc., where they believe in the power of music to transform people and communities. Based in Northern California, their board-certified music therapists support people of all ages and abilities within hospitals, schools, corporations, and communities using music experience to connect, express, and de-stress. Visit them at mcconnellmts.com or their Facebook page, McConnell Music Therapy. This episode of Reduce Your Stress with Tim Ringgold is also sponsored by Dr. Nisi, trainer and certifier of master and executive coaches, because she believes every person, every relationship, every business, and your finances should be extraordinary. Find out more about Dr. Nisi Moore and the Life Coaching Institute at www.drnisi.com. That's DRNEECIE.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Reduce Your Stress with Tim Ringgold. It's so great to be with you. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, if this is your first episode since finding out about this podcast at the Stress Elimination Summit, welcome. Every month, you're going to get 2 original instrumental pieces of music by yours truly, an interview with an expert on some facet of reducing or eliminating your stress, and an artist interview with another musician like myself dedicated to helping others with their music. If you missed the Stress Elimination Summit Recovery Edition for some reason, you're in for a treat, because today's interview is from one of our day one speakers. If you were there, this interview will serve as a reminder for you to actually implement what we discuss. So sit back, relax, and I'll see you on the other side. Your smartphone can immediately connect you to almost anything, anywhere in seconds. It's amazing how easy you can connect with data, products, service, and people. Yet could this power and ability to connect you actually be disconnecting you from what's really important in your life? Eelco De Boer from Amsterdam is owner of 9 companies, and he's going to share with you one simple technique that will give you back your peace of mind, make you peacefully prolific, and make you claim back the number one reason you are here, which is freedom. Eelco, welcome to the summit.
Thank you so much, Tim. How are you?
I am well. I did not have time to bone up on how to say welcome in Dutch, but is it something pretty similar to welcome? How do I say it?
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, I passed my first Dutch test. Yes.
Exactly.
Success. So my first question to you, of course, is what was your first concert?
My first concert. It was actually a house party in Holland, like in '94. But it wasn't a concert. I think my first concert was Toto.
Toto.
Yeah.
Wow. No way.
Yeah.
Outstanding. How old were you?
I think I was 14 at that time.
Okay.
And I miss concerts, man.
Yes.
It's the one thing that I mean, there's many things that I miss, but I truly miss going to shows.
Yeah, that's been a giant missing for me too. In fact, 2020 was like the year that I was I started putting concerts on I created a monthly concert calendar so that I would just not get busy and forget to go.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is the year I'm back on the concert routine. Woohoo! Yeah. Not so much. So, like I said in the introduction, it was just a few days ago, I feel like that we were in a men's group together and you were talking and suddenly I was like, dude, please, let's figure this out. And so we've been like scrambling back and forth, trying to make this happen, that you're here. And I'm so happy you made it. So here we are. The great irony, right, is that we're connected right now on a screen and through the internet.
Which is amazing.
And it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And I alluded to this in my introduction this morning, right? It's this double-edged sword, right? But talk to us today about what is like the impact that the internet and this this 24/7 connectivity is having on our stress, and what can we do about it?
Yeah, so I started running an internet business in 1999, and I was decently successful with it and happy with it because it changed my life, not just financially, but also gave me the opportunity to travel the world, meet guys like you, like really developing myself in a completely other level that I could have done. I could never done it without the internet. Then in 2008, when my business was growing, I really noticed I was consistently stressed out. But I wasn't stressed by the things that I needed to do or my business. I was actually happy with my business. But I just noticed in my body that I wasn't feeling great. And then I tried to test one thing, and the thing was the following. I decided to switch off the internet at 7 p.m. and go back online the next morning. So at that moment, I realized that I was consistently, and this is 2008, I was consistently checking my stats, my emails, forums, stuff like that. I think YouTube like hardly existed. There was no Facebook, no Instagram, no Clubhouse, like all those things didn't happen yet. And but I realized I'm stressed out. Then one evening I switched off the internet at 7 p.m. And that was the first evening in years that I actually felt peace of mind, that I felt peace in my body. And I actually had the time to have a conversation with my mother for 45 minutes, then have a conversation with a friend for 45 minutes. And I just really noticed like, wow, this is a game changer. The same night I had the most sound sleep that I had in a long time. And that was the birth of a topic that I call internet fasting. Most of us know the term intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, when it comes to food, is that you adjust your eating window based on for how long you want to eat. So, for example, a lot of people do an 8-hour eating window and a 16-hour fasting window. So, for 16 hours, you don't eat anything, and for 8 hours, you eat. So, you're an intermittent faster. Which has a lot of benefits, a lot of health benefits, but also a lot of peace of mind benefits. Because, for example, if you eat from 12 to 8, you don't need to think about what to eat up until 12 noon. And then after 8, you don't need to think about, oh, do I eat a snack or whatever? You don't even think about it because it's a rule. You got 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating. I implemented this in 2008 for myself with internet, and I call it internet fasting. So what I have is I have an internet window almost every day. So for example, I wake up in the morning and I don't go. So for example, today it's 9 p.m. Over here in Amsterdam. And the first time I got online today was around 2 p.m. So I wake up and like I don't go online at all. So, and notice I have 9 internet companies. So my whole world is based on the internet. And there's like 100 workarounds that I use. So I understand that a lot of people will be like, yeah, that's too easy for you, but bear with me for a second. So I wake up and the first time I go online is 2 p.m. But for all of us, a lot of us, what we do is we wake up and we get the iPhone or whatever it is, and we go online and we check our messages or social media, stuff like that. What I decided to do is with internet fasting, I'm not going online at all up until a certain moment. So for me, most of the time it's around 1, 2 p.m. I go online and I go offline around 7, 8 p.m. Today is a different day because I'm speaking here. It's 9 p.m. now in Amsterdam, which is fine. But after this, I'm closing down the MacBook and I don't go online anymore. I got this thing. It's a Nokia. It's an old school. They call it a dumb phone. And with this, I can call my mom, like anybody, my wife, my children. But so people can reach me actually, but I'm not on the internet. So a couple of rules that I use for internet fasting. Don't go online after you wake up for a longer period of time. Stretch it as long as you can. So for example, maybe start with an hour. Wake up tomorrow and for the first hour, don't check your iPhone, don't check your MacBook, whatever you have that's connected to the internet. So you wake up with a peace of mind and you can actually feel yourself. Even more important, in the evenings, switch off the internet a couple of hours before you get to sleep. Minimum 1 hour so you can feel yourself again. one of the most addictive things in the world is internet, and even worse is social media. And if you can disconnect from the internet more and disconnect from social media more, you'll have a more present life. You'll be more happy. You'll be healthier. You'll have better ideas. You'll have a more clear mind. You're more in the rest and digest nervous system versus the fight or flight. And one of the big insights for me was really acknowledging to myself that I'm addicted to social media and that I'm addicted to the internet. And there needs to be a way for all of us, if you are addicted to it, to create a good system around it. And for me, internet fasting has been one of the most powerful things that I've been doing for the last 12 years, 13 years. I have a lot of courses, I have a lot of products, I have books, I have a lot of strategies. If you would ask me one thing that's a total game changer for almost anything, it's internet fasting. That's the one thing that I'm teaching. If people ask me, like, what's the one thing? So yeah, that's I think it's a concept that we all can adjust to. We can implement. Start small. If you want to start small, 1 hour in the evening, 1 hour in the morning. And then, you know, same with intermittent fasting. You probably didn't start off like with 8 hours. Maybe you start off with 12 hours and 11 hours, 10 hours. Same thing you can do with internet fasting.
That's brilliant. That's really brilliant. I really appreciate just the idea that there's a rule for it, because I know that when I made the rule in my head around food, it was shocking, because what it did is it took away, and what's funny is Dave Asprey is speaking Friday about internet fasting, right? Or intermittent fasting. Yeah. And so the decision fatigue of, when do I eat? Do I eat? Can I eat yet? How about now? Can I eat? Is it time to eat? All went away.
Yeah.
Because it was just off the table. And then with I heard someone say in another men's group, he said, I give the first 5 hours of my day to me first.
That's it.
Right. And I thought, whoa. And then I realized I'm at 3 hours right now in my morning pre-screen routine, which is we have a thing with our kids and we call it the pre-screen routine. And it's like, these are all the things that are healthy for you that you've got to do before you log on to that screen, because that screen is going to lobotomize you and it's going to stress you. And one of the things I want to point out when you said social media, I want to use a relevant example right now. So I have an iPhone, and in my Facebook feed with my iPhone, the latest version of Facebook, at the bottom, it has, you get your different icons, right? Well, recently Facebook added news as a button on the bottom of my menu. It used to not be there. And I used to go over to Google and scroll Google for my news. And then I saw this button. And I was like, oh, what's that button? And then, oh, look at these pictures. Now, the irony is that it says, good afternoon, Tim. And then everything below it is distressing, uncertain, fear-based news. Of course, because it's designed to capture and keep my attention for longer periods of time. The only way you can do that is if you activate someone's, nervous system. And that's what they're doing. They're, like you said, they're activating my nervous system. And I saw me being the mouse, like being led to the cheese. Like I suddenly saw, it was just so clear, like the irony of it saying, good afternoon, Tim. And then bang, here's some fear for you to wake you up.
Yeah, man. It's huge. And that's what you consume, and you are what you consume.
Yeah.
And if you consume fear, you'll become fearful.
Yes. That's exactly it. That's been the struggle. I've had to uninstall Google News before and uninstall Facebook before. And because I just noticed that I couldn't resist the negative news feed. And so the idea of just kind of buffering it on both ends. I notice also with sleep, my sleep, like the earlier I go offline, the better I sleep. The later I go offline, the worse I sleep. And in the United States, sleep is a huge issue. People struggle massively with sleep. Sleep is such a game changer for everybody, because the quality of your sleep is the quality of your next day's focus, emotional regulation, and memory. So, right. So it's like, I see it as these like domino effect.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is the first thing to do for anybody who wants to start internet fasting is like try maybe like a 1 hour window on either side of bed.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay.
So for example, if you're all, for you, I might suggest like stretch, and there's a difference between internet time and screen time. So for example, if you have a 3 hour screenless time, or
pre-screen routine,
pre-screen time, maybe add 1 hour of screen time with no internet.
Gotcha.
So you switch off the Wi-Fi from your computer.
Yep.
And then you flow for an hour, 2 hours. So that's what I do in my mornings. I don't have a pre-screen routine because I'm not on the internet at all. But I flow on my. I got a MacBook, and I write and I come up with ideas, but there's nothing to interrupt me. So I got my journal, I got my MacBook. So I'm just flow, and then around 1 or 2 p.m. I bring into the world what I created. So for example, today I created an outline of 68 tips on how to become successful on Clubhouse, which is super addictive, by the way.
Yes, it is.
But I created the whole outline this morning, and I just recorded a video, 68 tips, that's why my voice is a little bit,
my gosh.
But and that's what I created in my flow time this morning without the internet.
Gotcha. And I think that's a really good point, because when you're on the internet, you're consuming.
Yes.
And when you're off the internet, you're producing or creating. And that's the difference.
That's why I mentioned this Nokia.
I can't even look at it. Yeah, it's like amazing. 1997. When was that thing?
I think so. But why I have this thing? I want to be there if people need me.
Yes.
So I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, just put your MacBook on flight mode. But what if your mom calls, or what if your children need you, or whatever? So this is my phone. People call me with this, and so I don't feel the anxiousness. Even my team members, they know that if they need me, they can call me on this thing. But I won't be online for the first couple of hours of the day.
That's fair. That's really smart. There's a really funny commercial here in the States about it's a support group for dads who have flip phones. And the guy's like, it makes calls and it takes calls. That's all I need my phone to do. And they're poking fun at this meme, which is, a lot of middle-aged men who are just like, I don't need the distraction. I just need the utility. Yeah. And so like you're like now the poster child for that. And I can't tell, I've had that exact conversation with both my stepdad and my stepdad-in-law. It makes calls, it takes calls, that's all they wanted. And then everyone else is like, no, you have to get online. You have to. You're going to miss out. And it's like, well, you know what you're going to miss out on? You're going to miss out on the stress and the anxiety and the powerlessness that comes along with this flood of information, because the reality is that so much of the information that you're getting flooded, you have absolutely no agency or control in the outcome of any of it. So you feel disenfranchised, you feel disempowered, powerless. Forced powerlessness is a very distressing feeling to the nervous system. And so one of the greatest things to do about that is to get offline. And start creating something instead. It's great.
Cool.
Yeah. Eelco, where can people find out more about you online?
What I would suggest is send me a DM on Instagram. I have an ebook. It's called 123 Lessons for a Life Filled with Life. Nice. And I think you're going to send it out as well.
Yes.
You send it out, forget about it. I was like, send me a DM and I'll send you the ebook. But send me a DM on Instagram. I love to connect when I'm online. And it's just my full name. So Eelco De Boer. I think it's in the screen somewhere at my speaker thing.
Yep.
So if you just send me a DM on Instagram, I'll get back to you. I love to connect with anybody. Just send me a one-word DM or whatever, and we're in touch.
Awesome. Eelco, thank you so much for being a part of the summit. It's great to hang out with you. Thank you very much.
Very welcome, and thanks for having me.
You bet. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for checking out this episode of Reduce Your Stress with Tim Ringgold. I've got a couple of resources for you, which you can find in the show notes or you can listen to right here. So check it out. If you enjoy the sound of my voice and you enjoy the sound of my guitar, imagine them put together. Go to sonicrecovery.com and take your very own relaxation vacation, where I take you out of the stress of the present moment and back in time to a time when you felt happy, healthy, safe, and sober, and then walk you through that memory so you can bring back those feelings into the challenges you're facing today. So go check that out. It's at sonicrecovery.com. If you're a healthcare worker in recovery, check out the Music in Recovery Self-Care Guide for healthcare professionals that I created just for you. That's at hcp.sonicrecovery.com. And if you're a healthcare worker and you'd like more information about how to help your patients use music, you can check out the Music Medicine Guide that I created just for you at musicmedicineguide.com. Lastly, if you enjoyed the pod and you haven't done it yet, would you just take a minute to rate and review it? It really only takes about 60 seconds, believe it or not, and it would go a long way to help us make more people know just how good this pod is, particularly for healthcare workers and their stress. Thanks again. See you next time.